So yeah, Kansas is back before Texas is back. I guess they're 5-0. For the
Right.
first time since 2009, they have packed the stadium. It was one of the boringest games I've ever watched. Honestly, like we had a huge game watch at our house and the Orness household, and it was just a real bummer. And I honestly, I don't really know huge thoughts on it. It was just a big bummer game, and nothing was clicking on offense. Our defense played really good. When we put our defense in the right position, like when our special teams didn't screw us over or our offense put us in a bad position. When Hunter threw a pick, gave him a good field position, and they only scored 14 points. So as long as we can get our offense going somehow, I'm not sure if we have to change who's calling plays or something, because that playing calling was brutal to watch on Saturday, and I don't know what you guys felt like, but that was really hard to watch, and we just seemed like we were running the same two plays over and over again. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I obviously not super thrilled. Yesterday, I'd have some time to decompress. I think one thing no one talked about yesterday was Jairell had one carry and then didn't play the rest of the game. So I wonder if he came into the game hurt and they just see if he could go, or I didn't look like anything egregious happened on his one carry. That was huge because we really couldn't run the ball after that. I mean, Silas had 12 carries for 29 yards, and Sanders had 7 carries for 20 yards, and then Hunter 9 carries for negative 21 yards. A lot of those were sacks, but I don't know. I think your defense holds any team to 14 points, you probably should win. And it wasn't that we didn't move the ball, and we had the time of possession. We had 35 minutes. They had 20. So it's just I think the main difference between this year and last year is we can still move the ball. We didn't have that many 3-and-outs, but last year we got points out of almost every possession that we got inside the red zone, and this year we're just really struggling to finish drives. And then you have a true freshman kicker. It's hard to fault him. It's especially when you miss a couple, it's mentally really tough to come back from, and then you throw him out there to tie the game, which in a sold-out stadium is it's a pretty uphill battle, especially after you're already down on yourself, I'm sure, and I feel bad for him. I think he's going to be fine going forward, and I just hope that our team can kind of help pick him up, just because you look at that game, it's tough to blame the kicker when you only scored 1 touchdown. So, and especially against an inferior defense, in my opinion. So,
They had 26 rushing yards
yeah,
on the whole game. That's the one thing. We have to get the
look
right
at.
back.
I mean, they had 213 total yards.
Yeah. So
We had 16 yards, if you count Hunter.
yeah.
I mean, we had 16 yards on the ground because we had Silas for 29, Sanders for 10, Jairell had 8 on his only carry, and then Hunter had negative 21.
Yeah, and then Hunter throws it 48 times. It was probably in large part because Jairell was out, but I don't know. I agree with Thomas. The play calling was extremely conservative. We stretched the field twice, and one time we ended up inside the 10-yard line and scored a touchdown on the drive, and then we had the one underthrown ball to Sean Shaw that ended up not being that big of a deal. But I really thought this year would be, especially with a quarterback with a strong arm like Hunter, that would be a year that we would start throwing it downfield a little more. But
Especially the speed we have. We have Stanley, who's like really fast. Jalen Noel's really fast. We have like slot receivers. Hutchinson's not slow. We have Silas in the slot. We need to get him the ball more in the slot. We've been trying to yesterday, but yesterday had a lot to do with Gerald Brock being out, and our offensive line struggled a lot yesterday.
That's the key.
They were either miscommunicating or we just absolutely got mauled. It's hard to beat anyone on the road when we get absolutely mauled, and Hunter honestly held the ball a couple times too long and could have thrown the ball away, but he was running for his life really all day, and it's hard to get a rhythm when you're a starter on the first time on the Big 12. You're a starter for the first time going to the Big 12 road game when Kansas is like finally like has some juice in their football program for the first time in over a decade. So it's just a lot of bad things happen that usually happen. We have special teams is still an issue. It's always been an issue in the Campbell area, and it's until we get that figured out, it's just gonna be the same old, I think. And I think we need to make some change. We need to make a huge drastic change like we did during the Jacob Park like the play calling, like like Kyle Kemp's, like we changed it up all. We just need like that big of a change, I think, and then things will go back to positive ways for Cyclone Nation. I think that's my personal opinion.
Well,
Yeah,
Campbell's has done it before because we did it on defense 5 years ago, whatever it was. We made a huge change in midseason. So I think we were running all those goofy little underneath 5-yard routes for Xavier because we couldn't run the ball. I mean, we were just trying to find a way to create a rushing game with our passing game, and it didn't work. I mean, can we pump the brakes on the Jalen Daniels Heisman talk? I mean, he ended up having, 93 yards passing and 9 yards rushing. I mean, people were suggesting he's the next Seneca Wallace. I mean, either our defense is unbelievable, which I think they could be, or Jalen Daniels is not been playing defenses like us. So our defense gave us a chance, but we can't score 11 points against a really not a very good defense in Kansas and expect to win. I mean,
Yeah, some positives of what would be our defense is the Anderson on one side and Will McDonald on the other side. That is lethal right now.
Yeah.
Anderson, that one move he had in the fourth quarter was absolutely so awesome. It was just perfect. It was like art.
And all those morons out there that are tweeting at our 19-year-old kicker, at some point we got to get the damn ball in the end zone. We can't have 11 points and can't figure. And we're going to blame it on a kicker that he couldn't go out and stand out on the field from now until next Saturday and kick the ball and hit the same goalpost 2 times in a row. I mean, he was 6 inches to the right, and if those kicks are 6 inches to the left, they both go in. And now his frame of mind at the end of the game is completely different. So, the kicker should have made him. Obviously, he's got that one that he kicked for 45 would have been good from 55. So he's gonna win a game for us somewhere down the road, but it's not on the kicker.
No, I agree. But the thing is, I guess my biggest issue with the whole how we handled the end of the game was, one, Xavier has got to get the first down. He's got to have the awareness that he's close and he got to stretch the ball out. Being half yard short, I think, as a senior is inexcusable. But also, it's 4th and 6 inches. You've got a big quarterback now in Hunter, who's 6'2", 210.
Yeah,
you've got a kicker that's already missed 2. He's a true freshman. I don't think it's fair to him to trot him out there and say, hey, kid, go tie the game for us. And we got 1 timeout left. I just think it was extremely conservative to not even we didn't even try to win the game. We took no shots at the end zone that last possession, and then we just settled. You said, you know what? We can't get half a yard. Personally, I would have been much more okay with if we go for it on 4th down, don't get it, than just trotting our true freshman kicker who's struggling. I just think it's you don't recover a kicker after missing 2 by just trotting him out there again to tie the game. I just don't think that's fair to him. And especially we've got the guys, like we should be able to just say, you know what, we're going to go man on man and get half a yard.
Right. I know.
I don't think it's
just hand it off to Jared Russ and go forward.
Or a QB sneak. We did a QB sneak and it worked. We got 2 yards. Like I think if you do QB sneak and don't get it, okay, that's fine. Then you probably didn't deserve to win. But I just don't understand why we were so conservative the entire second half. Like we moved the ball a couple times and then we would just stall out, and we took 2 shots on the field. 1 almost scored and 1 was just a little underthrown just because Hunter didn't have the time to get his feet set. I don't know. I think that's my biggest issue with the game is I think we got to be a little more aggressive, especially when we're, in my opinion, the more talented team. You just got to trust your guys. And I think we should not be putting our faith in the true freshman kicker at this point, especially when we have all these other seniors that are so battle tested. I think you have a senior in Trevor Downing. You trust him. You give the ball to Hunter. You get 1 yard. I think. And then if you have to kick a field goal after that, fine. But I just don't think. I wish that we would have handled that differently. And then just, I don't know. I think our play calling was probably, we got a little panic because Hunter didn't have the time to run deeper routes. And I just don't understand. Like the offensive line looks so good against Baylor. And we made it look like we were playing the Lawrence Taylor from the New York Giants. I just don't understand.
And I think that surprised our offensive coordinator guys too, because I mean the pocket was so small. He had no room to even move then the pocket was collapsing quickly, and I think that was maybe we underestimated how good their defensive line was. I mean, I disagree with you on on the not try. I think we should have actually tried to quarterback sneak it. There was nobody covering a center. That was pretty obvious to me, but I didn't disagree with trotting the kicker out there, to be totally honest with you. I mean, because I think what Campbell said in the post game is right. I mean, we were playing so well on defense, is that if we can get it to overtime, we're going to win, because he was going to put it on our defense, and it just didn't work out.
We had a terrible snap on a PAT, two doinks. Like, is that a point? Like,
true.
you know what? Today's not our day, special teams wise. Let's just put it in the offense's hands.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have. Like, there was no part of me that had any faith in our kicking game.
Well, there's probably a lot of people that had no faith in our offense either. I mean, we can't run the ball. We were struggling to pass the ball.
How many total yards do we have for the game?
How many total yards?
Yeah.
We had
313. 287 passing yards. 20 first downs to 10. Like, our offense wasn't anemic. We just couldn't finish drives. So I don't know. I think
Kansas only had 10 first downs.
Yeah.
Kansas only had 10 first downs and 3 third down conversions.
They had 213 total yards. TCU yesterday against Oklahoma had 440 in the first half.
We only punted it 3 times.
That's what I'm saying. I just think.
I don't know where you're getting your stats. What did you say our total offense was? Because I've got it at 303.
313. We got
No,
CNN.
close. Yeah. No, ESPN.
But I don't know. Regardless, I just think. I don't know. I think on the road, you got to trust your most talented players, and our special teams is still the worst part of our team, and I just don't think we should ever put it in their hands.
It's still offensive line and special teams. It's still the same.
If it's 4th
story.
and 6, I get it. It's 4th and a half a yard.
Yeah.
And your kicker's missed 2 field goals already, and he hasn't made a field goal.
Well, I mean,
I guess I don't think it's fair to him, the true freshman kicker who's struggling. I just like. Mentally, college football is a very stressful sport, especially for a true freshman kicker who hasn't played. This is his first road game.
But the thing is, though, okay, so it's really easy for us to make that decision. I mean, we were second. We were yelling at the TV and don't do X, Y, or Z, and it was working out in the other way during the game. I mean, we said, punt it at one point. We went 4 and 4th down and got it, and we're not. The second guessing thing is also very easy, but from Campbell's standpoint. The first 2 field goals he missed, he didn't miss them wide left, wide right. He missed them by 6 inches. He wasn't way off.
But I know
his worst one was the last one.
I know, because it's all mental. He walked out there. He probably was telling himself like he didn't walk out there and look confident.
Campbell obviously knows the kids better than we do. I mean, so he obviously has a different perspective on it. I was really cheering for the kid. I was really hoping I hope he comes out on the field and knocks it in and sends us to overtime, and it would catapult him for the rest of the year, and the opposite happened.
But I get it. But again, when we're playing Kansas, who is not as talented as us, we at some point we just have to decide, like, you know what, we're going to put our most talented guys against theirs and hope we win.
Yeah.
But again, I think we're focusing on getting a little ton of vision on this last series, but like, there's no excuse that we should even be in that position.
No, right. No.
Because we get inside the 10 twice, and we get 3 points.
We get nothing out the fumble. The fumble that we finally get the turnover. We get nothing out of that.
Fumble up, and we get a good defensive stand. Fumble the punt.
Xavier drops a touchdown.
Jalen muffs the punt, and then gets Chiefs shotted. No one even talks about that. ESPN, he gets Chiefs shotted right out. Like, it's just so blatantly right in front of the ref. It just gets Chiefs shotted.
Yeah,
like if it was a different team, be like, oh, look at that.
Again, but I think it all comes down to we were the more talented team. They executed when they needed to, and we shot ourselves in the foot too many times. I think the good thing is we're learning that we have a group of guys that just aren't as experienced. I mean, we last 3 years we've had the same core guys that have played in so many close games, and in the Big 12 this year, it's going to be tough to win close games. Like, you have to win in the margins, like Campbell says. You have to do the little things. You can't make mistakes at key. Like, right now, we're not making mistake after mistake, but we're making mistakes in really key parts of the game that are really costing us points. And I think it's still early. I think Cyclone Nation's probably panicking a little bit, but it's nice that, I mean, it's not like the Kansas of old. Like, Kansas is pretty good this year. They're 5-0. So at least it's not like it's
housed on Saturday.
It's not a catastrophic loss.
TCU will house them on Saturday.
I don't know, but I mean, Kansas, I think this just goes to show how powerful the transfer portal is going to be. Like, they have a totally new team. Lance Leipold's a good coach. But I think this is not about Kansas. This is about us. We have to look ourselves in the face. Our seniors have to step up and lead. Hunter is, I think people are forgetting, Hunter's only a sophomore. He hasn't started ever in college. Like, there's going to be some growing pains. And I think I think we're going to learn a lot about Hunter's resolve in the next couple of weeks. I think he's a little more fiery. He's really competitive. I think that can probably come off as like maybe whining a little bit, but I don't think it is. I think he just wants to win so bad. And he probably gets a little more frustrated. He's less even keel than Brock is.
Yeah.
So it's just a total adjustment. But I don't know. I just don't understand.
It's hard to manage when you're getting sacked every second.
I know. So
your starting running back's gone. Your tight end got hurt.
Starting running back, who's also our best pass blocker.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pass blocker, and
But if you look at how Hunter played in the second half, he was forcing throws as if he didn't have faith that he was going to have enough time.
Yeah.
So he's missing throws because he's not sure if he's going to be able to get it off. I think that's and he's probably a little less accurate than Brock at baseline. But I think that was when you're running for your life, like it's really hard to relax. Another thing I wish we would do more, especially for Hunter, is we take so much time in between plays. Yeah. Like we don't run tempo. We don't get into a groove. Like we get a 10-yard gain and then we just sit there. Like I think, especially in these games when we can kind of put them on their heels. Like Kansas was never on their heels defensively. We could let them get set, and we were just so predictable. And credit to them, they made some really good open field tackles. They stopped Xavier 6 inches short of the first down. And I just think...
But that shouldn't happen either. I mean, we shouldn't be running a route 6 inches short of the first down. Run it 1 yard deeper.
Yeah, and I guess that's my point.
Beyond the sticks. Get beyond the sticks.
Like we get a couple of completions. Like let's put the pedal to the metal and just kind of don't let them sub. Like let's just keep the same group in and go a little quicker. Because there's times when when we're like against Baylor, like they're back against the wall, like we went quick pace, move the field down, like we move the ball on the field in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it came off a little arrogant. We were just like, you know what, we're gonna kind of not do too many crazy things. We're gonna win, and then you get to the fourth quarter and you're still down. Like the margin for error just gets thinner and thinner. So I think I don't know. It's.
And what was the penalty where they reviewed it? It was like literally like a half an hour review.
Yeah, that was horrendous. I mean, it was they said the receiver got covered up and he went out for a pass, but then they said he was behind the line of scrimmage, so you can pass it to him, and they blew that because he was covered up. He's not an eligible receiver.
So it was the wrong call, but you can't review refs make wrong calls all the time.
Yeah.
They don't review, like, if they
Don't
call
review
pass
everything.
interference
So
and then you look
obviously
at the replay and it's not, they don't look at it in the booth.
It's obviously reviewable, or they wouldn't have reviewed it.
Campbell said it wasn't.
Oh.
In his press conference, he said that's illegal. He's like, we got to get this figured out.
No, he said the ruling was illegal, not the fact that they reviewed it. He said that they got the rule wrong, is what I read.
Oh,
it wasn't the fact that they couldn't review it. But yeah, that just took so long. I mean, it was just painful.
I cannot imagine being in the stadium and like there's already a timeout, and then like there's another timeout, and then like Campbell goes out, and then there's another timeout, and the refs keep going back and forth, running across the field like it's a middle school game, and they don't know the rules.
Right.
Like it was so hard to watch on TV. It was just I don't know. I mean at the same time, Kansas like is 5-0. Like they've stormed the field. Like it's not the first time Kansas stormed the field against us. Imagine that. Like
it's a big. It's
a big win for them.
They're excited, and it's hard to blame.
Not excited enough to fill the stadium. There's still a lot of empty seats.
It was sold out,
but it doesn't. But there was a ton of empty seats at that place.
Regardless, Kansas 5-0. Campbell's never been 5-0. Like I don't know. It's crazy. It's
just
I don't know.
They're not. I mean, so. My predict Kansas is not playing in the Big 12 championship game. That ain't happening.
No, I know, but I mean, but they're 5-0. Like they're
right.
They're in the driver's seat right now.
So where is our next win?
I think we win next week.
Okay, good.
I think
not if we play like we did this.
No, I know, weekend. And I think this is where the seniors step up. It's a wake up call. I think we're gonna. I mean, I hope. I guess this is probably me hoping, not think. I think we got to stretch the field. Our defense is still really, really good. Jeremiah Cooper, true freshman, had an awesome game. Our linebackers played pretty well. Will McLaughlin had some good snaps.
Okay.
MJ Anderson played really well.
You keep saying stretch the field, but Brock, you could see Brock in the NFL Combine, like he had the best deep balls. We have Hunter Deckers. We finally have a deep ball guy. we haven't gone like when we go deep, we have success, but we don't do it on a consistent basis. We are still,
But the one
we
deep
still
ball-
run the same plays that we ran with Purdy.
That's what I'm saying.
But we run with Decker, so we need to adjust. We haven't adjusted. I thought we would have done this in the summer. Why didn't we do it in the summer? We're adjusting to our possibly
Well,
best
Demetrius
player.
Stanley's the best
Yeah.
deep threat we've had in 5 years.
And he's like
Hakeem Butler, probably.
he was the one who had him and Xavier had confidence, and Stanley went a long time without even touching the ball.
Yeah.
And Jalen
He did
the
a
same
great,
way.
Stanley's had a great game. He had 5 catches for 86 yards.
Yeah, so it's just
But the thing is, our offensive line still isn't elite. But on the one deep ball, we moved the pocket. Hunter got out of the pocket, had enough time, and then Stanley was open.
yeah.
So we just got to get creative with
Yeah.
moving Hunter so he has time.
Yeah, I
Because
think
Hunter, the thing is with Hunter, as opposed to Brock, Hunter is tall enough where he can sit in the pocket and still read a defense. Brock, if his first read wasn't there, he'd have to bail just because he wouldn't have time or couldn't see. Hunter has the arm and the stature to like make a read, but he's just waiting too long. His pocket presence he's just inexperienced, and
but the longer he waits, the smaller the pocket gets. That's the problem.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
then he has no place to
he's got to
move.
bail earlier.
He can't go right, he can't go left, and he tried to go forward a few times up the middle.
And he's just
and
not
he
as
got
quick as
sacked.
Brock. So like,
Yeah. I think I said this last week, he's got to trust his legs more. And so the only way we're going to do that is get him rolling out to his left a little more, possibly.
I feel like we haven't moved the pocket like at all this
No,
year. It's
I
just
don't
been
think we ever do
3-step
that.
drops, and then if the reads aren't there, Hunter gets. And the thing is, with Hunter, like he sits in the pocket, so sacks are going for -7.
Oh, and
-8
every time he
yards.
got sacked, it seemed like it was
At
at least
Brock,
6
Brock
yards.
is Brock. I feel like recognized quicker that the pocket was collapsing, so he would at least make a move, and then if it'd be a 2-yard loss if
Yeah.
he got sacked, or he would potentially gain a couple yards. But again, I think Hunter is competitive, and I think he's going to learn from his mistakes. And it's just there's a little bit of growing pains, and that's okay. But in this Big 12 this year, like little mistakes, you're not going to win games.
And I know he's emotional, but I don't know what was said. And I didn't think it looked very good for him when him and Campbell got into it a little bit in the sidelines. Now he might have been blaming himself. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He's got frustrated in that one bad snap and started yelling at the center. He's obviously a much more emotional kid than Brock was, but he needs to. I mean, we need to be a little more stoic, I guess is the best way to say it, to be able to handle those pressure situations, because that over emotional stuff. I mean, TJ said it in his interview. TJ Osberger said, we got to be able to take the ups and the downs. And
But he's also a sophomore, so I think the leadership
he is 3 years in college, so he is 21 years
But
old.
he's never started in the Big 12.
Right,
We
but-
have seniors that have played a lot of football. Like they have
Right.
to be the ones to be like, okay, Hunter, like chill out. Like
Right.
I know Hunter's
I
the
do too.
quarterback, but like
Yeah.
we've got leaders on this team that I think they also have to step up too. Like
Yeah.
We also have
I'm
the-
not to the point where I'm bailing on Hunter. I
I'm
think
not either. No, he's
like
got too
Hunter's
much.
ceiling is so high.
It's crazy.
And I just think it's a combination. It's like I feel like Iowa State fans, they like to focus on things like, oh, it's the kicker's fault. It's a combination. Like
Or the refs' fault.
conservative play calling, battle line play,
was just-
inaccurate passes. Like it all plays in together. It's not one person.
At the end of the day, somebody's got to make a play. I mean, somebody's
I
got to
know.
step up and make a play, and we're not doing it right now.
Even Xavier is as much to blame as Hunter. Like Xavier's got to get that first down.
Yeah.
There was a couple times where he didn't have the awareness where he got tackled 1 yard short.
Yeah.
Like that. If that's Jalen Noel, it's understandable. He's a sophomore. Xavier's played a lot of football.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, what I like about our team is even when things go wrong, we don't quit. Like we
No,
still
right, yeah.
Like we don't. There's no
Like
quit in our team
Baylor-
at all.
If that Baylor game 2 weekends ago happened 8 years ago, we would have lost by 50.
Yeah.
Like we would have laid down, but we didn't. We fought back. We had a shot to. We almost got the onside kick and a shot to tie.
I know. So,
So I think like it's just I don't know. I think we get this like I don't know. This is such a weird year because usually we look terrible in September. We get it figured in October. We looked awesome in September, and now we have had 2 weeks. We're like, okay, like what's going on? So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. There's a lot of things to be excited about. We've got a lot of really, really talented young guys. MJ Anderson's a junior, which I just learned
Yeah,
today. Like
crazy.
he's having a great year. Jeremiah Cooper is a stud. Our corn, like this is the best secondary, like collective secondary play we've ever had.
Yep.
TJ Tampa and Miles Bridges are.
Will McLaughlin's fantastic.
Yeah,
as a
man. Well,
freshman.
again, we're going to keep singing his praises. I mean, we need to get the McLaughlin family some Sound the Siren
Yeah,
stuff
no,
because
He's good.
Playing terrific.
He looks a lot like Mike Gross.
Yeah, he does.
He's fast, like he's
Gotta
big,
put some weight on him.
Yeah.
Look out.
So I think it's not like panic. Like I think we just like it was a weird year because the last 3 years, like we had the same group. We won the Fiesta Bowl a couple years ago. We're like, oh, we're gonna be so good. Last year was a little bit of a letdown, just because. I mean, you look at last year, like they're close games. We just lost some close games. Like that just happens in football. This year, we really had no idea what to expect, and then you go 3-0 for the first time in the game. You're like, are we gonna win the Big 12 this year? And we're probably not the best team in the Big 12, but we're not that far off as far as talent goes. I mean, Baylor is one of the best teams, and we didn't look less talented than them, in my opinion.
Oh no.
Like going back to like 2017 when like going back to Jacob Park, like when we played Texas and we looked terrible. We looked awful.
And we still
Like, I know, but like we looked like it was like a very like gloomy time. Like, oh, we're not gonna be that good anymore. Like, but I feel like it just takes one more adjustment. We just need to adjust one more thing. Like on defense, we're fine. Like we had to adjust on offense
The
and
thing is,
defense.
this year, like the defense is a question mark. We didn't know if we were gonna have a good defense.
I know,
We're currently the best defense in the Big 12.
Yeah, so we just need to adjust on the offense, and we have. It's not like we're steps ahead, way or miles ahead of what we were in 2017 when it comes to depth. We just need to figure out a new system. Like our system was built for Dave Montgomery and like all these NFL running backs and Brock Purdy, who was an NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
we just need to adjust to, and like also Charlie Kohler. We haven't really replaced him yet. Like we have all these young dudes who have like Charlie Kohler came right in. It was healthy and played right away and was healthy his whole career. And so was Purdy. So was Rose. That's where no one really talks about. We were really lucky with those star players were really healthy. All
the Rose got hurt towards the end, though,
but
right?
but until the West Virginia game, he played all.
Yeah, like every single game.
Yeah.
So did you see what Kohler said on Twitter yesterday when the Clark kid got the 2-point conversion?
Oh no.
He said the best Clark, and then tagged his sister.
Oh, yeah.
That was a heck of a play.
Oh my God, it was fantastic.
But honestly, that was
negative.
I think that ended up being a negative play. We're down 4 points. We're more aggressive the last fourth quarter. But anyway.
Well, I mean, Oklahoma is obviously struggling. Texas is getting ready to pack it in if they can lose another one. Texas Tech is going to be Texas Tech. They're up and down. I think TCU is really good.
I don't know if TCU. I mean, are they that good?
I don't know. Well, they always have dudes.
We killed them last year.
Yeah.
Are they that much of a different than last year's team?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a really wild dose of reality coming for Kansas pretty soon.
But when we killed TCU, they didn't like Gary Patterson had already left. Like there was so much drama last year. Like Gary Patterson left before the season was over. It was so drama.
Again, they're not more talented.
Brees Hall was like Purdy senior year. Like all the Purdy, like it was a foregone conclusion that we were gonna win that game. And it was such an emotional day. Like imagine being a TCU player in that day. Like they're not gonna go. I don't know if they went to bowl game last year, but like it's their last game. It's November. You're in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah.
Like you
That's fair.
you know what I'm saying? Like the kids like barely care in Texas when it actually it actually matters. You know, like Texas players like they just folded in with cold weather. You know, that just like it's a thing.
You want a hot take? 4 weeks from now, Kansas will have lost their next 4. They're playing TCU, Oklahoma, Baylor, and Oklahoma State. Those are their next 4 games.
I don't know.
They're 2-4 in the Big 12 after that week. That's my prediction.
After seeing Oklahoma the last couple weeks,
Oklahoma's
I think
defense is terrible.
they can.
Yeah, but they still have dudes. The Venables has got to get it figured out.
I don't know. I mean, the quarterback might be out too.
Yeah, the
quarterback looked terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I
think Kansas might be Oklahoma. It's at Oklahoma, but
no, it's in Kansas.
So going back to what Thomas was saying earlier, like the last couple of years, we were lucky with health. We had 2 NFL starting running backs on our team, which I think that's one thing we're not talking about.
Yeah, missing Jarrell's huge.
Well, no, even with Jarrell, David Montgomery and Brees Hall were 2 of the best running backs in college football. As an offensive coordinator, that makes your job a lot easier.
Sure.
Like you don't have to really scheme as much. You just give Brees the ball, you give David the ball, and they make things happen. Makes play action passes really tough to guard.
Throw it up to
right now. Our offensive staff have to earn their money because like they haven't had to scheme as much the last couple of years because we've been so spoiled with incredible running back play. We don't have that this year. Jarrell's good, but he's not Brees Hall and he's not David.
He's not
Montgomery.
healthy. I mean,
but I'm saying like we have to adjust and like they've got to earn their money now. Like the coaches have to be much more involved, and I think it falls on them a little more than in the past, just because they really just leaned on our running backs that were so good, and we just don't have that this year.
You know the player we had that was pretty good? Kenny Nwangu.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he's the backup to Brees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was always there. He was a culture guy. That's the thing. It's just it's just a shift, and it'll happen. And I think
But we don't have that. That's like right now we don't have that.
yeah,
So
but it'll happen though. I think Deckers will either take the reins, or if Deckers is gonna go downhill I'm not saying this is gonna happen. I'm just being exaggerating a little bit. If Jacob Park just goes away, and then Rockeback comes in, that's obviously a totally different.
There's no
if
way.
that happens, like things have gone.
That's just me
wrong.
being deja vu, seeing what happened yesterday. But that's just me seeing Campbell, because Purdy was not yell at Campbell like that ever. So that's Jacob Park is the only other quarterback that would do that, and that's Deckers is the more fiery. Says we're so used to Purdy being so calm and collected all the time. That's Deckers
but
is just a
Brock
new guy.
still screwed up.
I know
a lot.
but he didn't come back yelling at Campbell. It's
Brock
just a
threw
new
it
thing.
backwards to Baylor for a pick six.
TCU.
I know, but it's just
TCU?
it's just different. It's just different, and we just have to learn. We'll just have to find a way to win. And I think Kansas State. We know Kansas State is for real, and our defense knows Andrew Martinez is for real.
Yeah.
And they have a
But
good.
Adrian Martinez has shown that he can cough up the ball if things go south.
and they have
So,
a good. Their running back's really good too.
But our defense is so good. The thing is, the last 2 games we've gotten down early, and totally as an offensive scheme, if you have a scheme and then you're down 14-0, throws out your game plan out the window. We've got to score in the first quarter. Give us a little cushion. We've been fighting uphill the last 2 weeks, and our defense is giving us so many chances. We just have to take advantage of it and capitalize on some of these drives. But the thing about Hunter is, he was in the Elite 11 with C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, same group, and he was in that caliber of his ceiling is high. We just have to figure out a way to maximize his potential. He's got some things to figure out too, and I think he will. I think the thing is, I see his fieriness is he just wants to win so bad.
He loves Iowa State. He's not being selfish.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, especially as a quarterback that when you have all these tools and you just don't have the time to use them, and you're making some mistakes. It's just. But I don't know. Credit to him. He threw a pick, but then the next possession he drove right back down the field. We almost had a 99-yard drive again.
Yeah, that would have been huge.
So he's not folding it in. He shows that he believes in it. He believes in himself. And he's made key mistakes. But what I love about him is his memory is so short.
Yep.
It doesn't sometimes with Brock. If he got down, then it would spiral out of control. The Iowa game last year.
That would be
Hunter is not what that happened.
Me saying massive change not being going over Rocco back to Hunter. I mean I think we need to change the play calling. We need to get someone else on the play calling, because it's been the same issue for so long. If we have any issue, if things are not rolling right, we just do the same thing over and over again until it goes right. But if it doesn't go right, we just lose the same way every single time. And we just then we just rely on our special teams to fumble the ball or random things, miss field
Jalen's
goals.
been pretty solid till
I know.
But it was
that
also
play.
their stadium had half the field sunny, half the field. I think he probably lost it in the sun.
Yeah, I think, but he didn't fair catch it either, right?
And it was
yeah, he should have fair caught it.
it was the exact same position where the Iowa ran into whatever, the same way,
Yeah, so I don't think you should put.
But
I don't think.
the
I don't
thing
think you
is-
should. I don't think you should say Jacob Park and Hunter Deckers in the same sentence ever again. I mean, that is a really large stretch. I mean, Hunter.
That's the only other example I have to compare.
Two
him to
guys
the
that have got on.
Purdy was Joe Lanning and then Jacob Park. And then Jacob Park was supposed to be the huge guy.
Right.
Jacob Park came in the summer just like Hunter Decker was. The huge guy, supposed to be the next guy. But I'm just saying it's similar. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the way it was. I'm just saying it's kind of deja vu over again. But I'm saying it's going to go a different route because Hunter has a different head and shoulders. And actually, you know what I'm saying?
Talking to people that knew that situation,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things going on.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
just
saying from a wide view.
Well, I think the only reason you would even think that is that Hunter is the first quarterback that we've had that is fiery enough to yell at Campbell. Whatever he's saying, I don't think he was yelling at him. He's probably yelling about the game or the play calling or something. But it's the first time we've ever seen somebody that emotional on TV in front of Campbell. Purdy never did it. you can't tell if Kyle Kemp is so calm all of the time.
Thank God he's on I
Joel-
love having him on our staff.
And
Like,
Joel Lanning was going to say, want me to be the holder? I would have do it. I mean, he was just 100% about just doing whatever he could. So Hunter's got a swag about him, which is
I think it's going to push our coaching staff to like.
Right, I agree. Yeah, he's going to question him. I guarantee you he's going to do that. Which I think
he's
he
just
should.
not old enough to call audibles. Like he doesn't
Right.
have the full
Yeah.
reign of the offense. But
Yeah.
what I don't know if this is true, but what I thought I saw him say is it was after the pick. He went over to the sideline. I thought it looked like he said, "Don't worry, I got this." Whereas like
That's
he messed
totally
up.
different than what you
Yeah.
would
But
think.
he's just like he's just an emotional guy.
Right,
So
yeah.
You see like a 2-minute clip. You're like, oh, is there an attitude problem?
No,
I don't think so.
I didn't think there was because I watched Campbell after that. If it would have, I remember the Jacob Park thing,
Yeah.
and I remember Campbell's reaction after the Jacob Park thing. I remember Campbell's reaction after Jaquan Bailey did his little tumbling act, and Campbell reacted when Campbell turned away from Hunter. He was not mad, and so he was not frustrated with his quarterback at all. And that's the only thing that I kept thinking. Obviously he's just fired up and wants to win as much as everybody else does. So, I'm still on the Hunter Deckers train. I think everybody else should.
Yeah.
I think we still need to stop reaching out to our damn kicker and leave the kid alone. He's going to win a game for us some point.
He's
So
a talented
we've
kid,
got
too.
to
He's
get
got a leg like
we've got it with this offensive group. We got to get the ball in the end zone 3 times minimum per game. And we're not doing it right now.
That's another thing that no one talks about. The way we react to a bad kicker, I think that has a lot to do with like reaction.
It's PTSD. It's PTSD for an Iowa State fan. This is exactly what it is.
That is our reaction, but the other reaction to that reaction is seeing recruits be like, oh, that's how they're treating our kicker who's bad. Like, what if I miss a kicker? And like they're gonna bully me into like transferring. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the culture of our fan base.
He's not gonna. He's not bad. First of all, and
I know I'm
it's
not.
just-
You know what I'm saying?
But
The
it could be-
reaction, bad day. He has a bad day.
But the
He's
problem
not a
with
bad player.
The problem with Twitter is it could be a troll. It could be somebody having an account
Yeah, I
set
know.
up as an Iowa State fan.
Exactly.
That's doing exactly that to antagonize him. I
Exactly.
mean, that's why if any of you guys were in college sports and had a Twitter account, I would tell you to cancel tomorrow.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, if you're a college kid and you happen to be listening to this, I don't know, you don't need to be listening to us morons criticizing you anyway. But if you have a Twitter account and you're an Iowa State football player and you post anything, don't ever read the comments ever, even if it's positive. Don't read them. Stick with your teammates, listen to your coaches, and leave us guys that live for Saturdays to watch you guys play alone. And those guys can say all they want to you. Just don't read the comments.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like Iowa State fans, we have habits. Like, we have had a lot of bad football in our history. Like, the classic thing was like, get a new kicker. We got to play the backup quarterback.
Right.
Like, we're like, it's okay. Like, we have talent. Like, we just need to pump the brakes.
And missing field goals at
Campbell is still our
Kansas.
coach.
It's like deja vu all over again.
That's right.
Missing field goals at Kansas, 2005. It felt like deja vu all over again. It
Yes.
literally felt like Kansas was good back then, and we missed field goals, doinking it left and right, and it literally looked like deja vu all over again.
I forgot about
That's
that.
literally why. That's why it hurts. Indeed, that's why we woke up.
It is
with the pit in
PTSD.
with a pit in our stomach. That's why we all woke up like that. Everyone listening to woke up the same way I did. Really sad.
Well,
'Cause we did not.
Now I'm even
Yeah,
sadder.
no, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's
I remember exactly where I was at when I was in.
That was Big 12. Let's go to the Big 12 title.
yes.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
I was
gosh.
coaching. We were at the jamboree at Iowa Central,
We
and I was
were
standing in the
putting up the Christmas tree with mom. And,
I was standing
we
there
stopped
in the coach's office watching the end of the game, and then had to go coach a basketball scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay,
we
well,
were-
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's why.
So, yeah,
that's
things
what.
have been
That's the
worse.
first thing I thought of when I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I didn't say it though, because like that would have made everyone else feel
The thing
even
is, like,
worse.
it's early. We're 3-2. We've been
Yeah.
3-2 like the last 5 years.
Right.
And plus,
It's
we
okay.
And plus, like a week from now, we could like beat Kansas State, who we love to beat. Those fan
Right.
bases absolutely suck. The people on Twitter, I'm sure they're great people. The Hire family is great, but in Humboldt, but
They're not listening to this either.
they're not listening to this either, probably, obviously. But like, I'm just saying, just the ones on Twitter have been really annoying, and like just like the Pro Football Focus, like Brees, who's better, Brees or Vaughn, like
Yeah.
just like the pettiness and. Just fun rivalry. There's like
Oh,
local rivalries.
it's
It's
gonna
better.
be- it's
It's
gonna
better to
be-
have local rivalries because, like, even like Missouri. Like I saw Missouri play Georgia. Like, do you think those players even care that they're Missouri versus playing Georgia? Like, do
No.
they play? They don't care.
No.
Like, we're trying to stew up a rivalry. Kansas State versus Iowa State. It's like one of the longest games ever played. Honestly, right?
Yeah.
The longest rivalries
Missouri
ever.
almost beat Georgia yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was,
well,
yeah.
and then Georgia decided they're going to wake up and
They
play.
won by 4.
Yeah, didn't Missouri have 22 points heading in at halftime? They shut them out in the second half.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think they did. I was partially watching it.
I think anyway. So I'm saying like a week from now, if we beat K-State, like we're back, and it's gonna be loud. It's a night game. Like I think if we just put the pressure on Adrian Martinez, get a couple mistakes, keep things simple. If we get a touchdown, or if we just get a lead,
or Colby Reeder's interception,
like
or something.
we haven't been like played with a lead since the Ohio game. So like we've just been on our heels a little bit. I just think it's going to be loud. Night games in Jack Trice are always insane. People are going to be tailgating still in the morning and just have a lot more time to drink a few more Busch Lights. Like it's going to be.
Don't puke on my kid.
It's going to be a crazy.
Kansas is on a winning streak, man. They beat Texas at Texas. They beat us. They're living on the high life right now. They have college game day coming up next week.
So you're going to send college game day there, and they can't fill the stinking stadium.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously?
It's a big matchup. TCU and Kansas State are both good.
Yeah,
Kansas.
that's right.
Can you imagine if they have a game like what we played? And it's like they hype it up like so it's like the best thing ever. Like imagine if like we were in the same position as TCU was, we were undefeated, and like we just had the game we were yesterday, where it was like the worst game ever. Like 10 reviews, reviewing the review, reviewing the calls. Right, Campbell. It was.
But you look at the Big 12. Like I have no idea who's going to win the Big 12 this year.
No, I don't either.
No idea.
Nobody
Oklahoma's
does.
in last place with us and West Virginia. Texas and Texas Tech and TCU or Texas Tech and Baylor are tied for second to last.
Well, we're only 2 games into it.
I know, but
Kansas
I'm saying,
Kansas only played 1.
2. They beat West Virginia.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Sorry.
So
so we're
I
2
have no
games in,
idea.
so we
And
still
the
got.
thing is, like,
yeah.
I think we can beat anyone on our schedule. So we got to figure it out. Like the Big 12 champ could have 3 losses this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a grind. So like.
So what's one major component that we need to see different on Saturday against Kansas State that needs to change? It has to change. Number one,
pace on offense. We have to get Hunter in a rhythm. Like it's so hard to complete a pass, and then you wait 40 seconds. You let the defense if we have a couple plays, let's just keep the pressure on them. Like we change packages way too often, and when you change packages, they are allowed to sub 2.
Yeah.
It just totally screws up your rhythm. That's one of my our possessions take forever, and what's frustrating is sometimes we go tempo. And we just move the ball right down the field.
Yeah, like Jalen just gets an easy 12 yards, just like nothing, and he just pitches it to the ref.
When you put the pressure in the secondary, you can fatigue them if you're every 10 seconds you're running a play, and we have skilled players on the outside.
Well, when you run tempo though, you're also testing the conditioning of your receivers because you're making them do sprints one after the other quickly. So you got to have at least 3 receivers you can rotate in there to keep those other guys fresh so they can go deep. I mean, if we're going to leave Xavier
I'm
and
not saying go
Jalen
deep. I'm
and
saying
Stanley on the field the entire time and go tempo, it's just a conditioning thing.
I'm
And
not
you got to
saying tempo
rotate
all the time. I'm saying use it strategically. You get run up and because we have Hunter has a strong enough arm where a 5-yard out is essentially a run.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to guard and he gets it out quick. So you do that 3 times in a row, and then you take a shot.
Yeah.
And then you regroup if it doesn't work.
Yep.
But now we're just 2-yard run, 5-yard pass, 2-yard pass.
Well, the point you said about
sack.
The point you said about subbing though is accurate because when we change packages, then they sub. It's usually under 15 seconds left in the possession clock when they get their package in. So now we're adjusting to that, and so that's what's taking so long because we're seeing what their personnel is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As Hunter, as a new quarterback, that's just you're making it harder on him than it needs to be.
Yeah, that if you play that right, that subbing rule where if you don't sub, they can't is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, if you end up with a mismatch and you don't sub out, and
Yeah. So I think that's just something. As a stupid non-football person, that would be nice. I guess one thing we haven't talked about yet is Cartavius Norton didn't make the trip. We don't know why. I actually don't know why. Campbell didn't comment.
I didn't know about it. You told me.
But man, would that have been nice to have a coming out party for Cartavius yesterday. It would have been Brees Hall at Texas Tech as a freshman. We needed a guy to be a bell cow, and Deion Silas, that's just not his game. I think he's a situational running back, and I think Eli Sanders showed some spurts, but the way our offensive line played, we just needed a guy that could make a guy miss and then run someone over.
And missing Jarrell, I think, cannot be understated.
That's what I'm saying. I think Cartavius is closer to Jarrell than
him not making the trip. It's troubling.
I saw another report that he just got hurt at practice again. But the thing is, Campbell never tells us. So
right. So we got to guess.
Yeah, it's just that's why I'm
had a birthday party to go to. Maybe a baby shower.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so yeah, that would have been nice. But anyway, I think our defense still awesome.
Yeah, it is. Haycock's still the professor.
Miles Purchase, that was not a pass interference call. That was not pass interference. That was one of the best plays I've seen as a corner Iowa State made in a long time, and it was a pass interference. Gosh, I just hate when that happens, where it's like it should be on a draft highlight for when he's going to be drafted, but like they're going to be like, forget to blur out the flag in the background because that was not a flag.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's nice now is like Iowa State fans still hate the refs and like there's bad calls, but like we're to the point now, like we're good enough where the refs are not costing us the game. Like, yes, it sucks that bad calls happen, but like we had so many opportunities that we still should have capitalized on and won. The thing is, we win that game, we're 1-1. Like we're right in it for
Well, so it's just like basketball. We got to steal one that we shouldn't get. I mean, that's the bottom line. We had Baylor. We had a chance.
Which I think it's got to be Okie State or TCU.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a pretty good crowd on the road. Yeah.
Plus, when Oklahoma, like the guy who's been killing it, like they're like the Kansas, like of Kansas basketball, the football, like they've been killing it. Like they're 0-2 in the conference already. Like that's new. Like
when the quarterback's hurt and like their backup did not look good. And the thing is with them too, like their defense looks bad. And if they lose again, like those players are like, you know what?
They
like
look terrible yesterday. They look so bad. Like Dugan or whatever.
Dugan
just ran straight.
Which good for him. He looked really good.
He's been hurt. He's been on injuries his whole career. Like good for him. Like for beating up on Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and that's nice to see a Iowa kid do that. And that pretty
can you imagine if Oklahoma and Texas finished the year in the bottom of the Big 12?
That'd be awesome. And like Kansas is like third.
Leave.
Yeah.
So I think you got to go pretty quick. So we're probably gonna have to wrap this up. Let's go through this. Let's go through the schedule for Saturday. I got Oklahoma State at Baylor.
That was last week.
Huh? Oh, you're sorry. Never mind. I'm reading the wrong week.
Hold on.
Rewind that. Cut. All right. Texas at Oklahoma.
Both
11 o'clock in the ABC.
It's not at Oklahoma. It's a neutral site game, but whatever.
Oh, it's
both unranked.
The Sugar Bowl or whatever it is, or Cotton Bowl.
That's funny.
So that's going to be a
Oklahoma.
decided.
Or actually, I don't know. I bet Texas wins.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
I
have no idea.
Oklahoma's quarterback's out. Texas wins.
Literally, whoever doesn't.
Might play.
Whoever turns over one time less will probably win.
TCU at Kansas. I think TCU by at least 2 touchdowns.
Give me Kansas.
No way. Texas Tech at Okie State.
Okie State. Yeah.
And then us.
Give me Texas Tech.
Really?
Nope.
Really?
I'm just going against green.
Oh, okay, whatever.
That's the theme of the look at the year. Oklahoma's 0-2. Texas is 1-1. Look at the bottom. That's just so sad. Like Texas, Iowa State, Oklahoma, West Virginia. That's so weird. Like 2018. That's
West Virginia have a bye?
Huh?
West Virginia must have a bye, huh?
I don't know. You're one looking at the schedule.
This isn't a West Virginia podcast.
West Virginia plays Thursday night the following week against Baylor.
So yeah, if you want to hear about West Virginia, just keep up and updated on the West Virginia podcast. Keep listening to us.
Yeah, some big games, and I don't know. I just hope. I don't know. The thing is too, like the Baylor game, the wind was taken out of our sails right away. Like the crowd was just mad, but it never really got like loud like it does. We just need something to happen, positive play in the first quarter, just to get the fans like.
Yeah,
juiced up.
I'm not sure what's wrong with Jack Trice. Jack Trice is not loud as he used to be. I'm not sure what it is.
No,
That might be the student section.
Like the student section.
I got to agree. They should have moved. They just should have flipped them to the other side. Put them where our guys are running out. That would have been an easy fix.
Yeah. Oh well, but again, that's.
I don't think it might not actually matter, but like just as a fan experience, it's just nice to have.
Same thing as like the lights at Hilton.
Yeah,
I still hate that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Anyway, so
it's going to be fall. Fall is arriving in Iowa on Friday night, though, so it's going to be a little chillier on Saturday night than it has been.
So what do we think the score for Kansas State? I
have no idea.
I think Kansas State kills us.
Think so?
Yep, Kansas State kills us. Andrew Martinez runs all around us, and we lose because
Michael's the opposite of that.
I don't know. I think
that's the way.
I think it's going to be the Will McLaughlin coming out party. I think we're going to have a linebacker or him or who was the 47 Jackson.
Kendall Jackson.
He had a great game
prior to Roosevelt, I believe. Roosevelt High School.
Yeah,
2 Iowa kids.
those two guys are probably our fastest linebackers, and we're
Yeah.
going to need someone to probably spy Adrian Martinez. But the thing is, one thing that we did against Kansas that kept Jalen Daniels in the pocket, like Adrian Martinez is not going to pick our secondary apart.
No.
We keep him in the
No.
pocket, like he's going to be uncomfortable. He's going to make mistakes. Like you don't think Haycock can scheme up something to keep Adrian Martinez in check? Like he's good, but he's not Vince Young. Like,
But the way
let's-
our offense has been putting the pressure on our defense, I think
I'm
giving
saying-
Adrian Martinez good field position is way different from giving the Kansas quarterback who was
but
not very
he's
impressive.
going to cough it up. Our defense is going to make some big plays. I think
he's
our
a
offense finally figures it out.
He's a totally different player. He's away from Scott Frost. He's
No, I know,
he's
but-
by his girlfriend in Kansas State now. Like he's doing good. Like
But
he's
he's
been
not
killed
like-
in Oklahoma. Like
he's
he's
not
on.
Peyton Manning. Like Haycock does a good job.
I
of
know.
scheming.
I'm not saying Haycock can't figure it out. Like I'm just saying.
They're not
I'm
going to
going.
kill us. Our defense is going to keep us in the game.
I'm going against the rim. I'm usually saying we win every time. I'm just going against the grain. I'm never saying we
This
lose.
is reverse psychology.
Yes,
is basically what you're saying. You're going to say that just because you want us to win.
Jace Gilbert hits a 45
I
yard
get
field
it.
goal to win.
I'm with you. Jace, what did you say?
Jace Gilbert 45 yard field
That
goal
would be-
into the Sukup end zone.
That would be awesome.
Breaks his collarbone to the
Brian Neal catches
Like-
it, or Greg Lemke from Humboldt catches it. That would be good.
Yeah, no, the thing is with football, which sucks, is we have to wait so long.
Yep.
So I'm still
Well, we gotta
sad
wait.
about last night. And then Saturday is gonna be a long day, but
Bachelor
you know what?
season's right around the corner. Yeah, that'll be.
Get to watch the Wildcats, number one in the state in 3A again on Friday night. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
So we get go ahead.
It's not all doom and gloom. I think we'll turn around. I think Campbell will figure it out. I think
The thing is with this year,
we'll
like
figure
we
it
just gotta our expectations. I think making a bowl game for this group will be awesome, just because we have so many young pieces.
and we don't trust the young pieces yet. I think that's why, as a fan base, we feel so doom and gloom because we haven't seen them overcome adversity like they're going to. I think
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully.
Somebody's got to
Campbell's
make a
teams
play.
never like the wheels never come off the bus. Like
No.
we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so I think it's first one to 21 wins.
All right, so
Yeah.
And
So
regardless
take
of
the-
who it is.
if
take the
whoever
under.
scores 21, then you can turn it off.
No,
according
it's
to
the
Craig.
first one to 21. If we can get to 21 before they do, then we
Turn it
could
off.
beat-
The thing is, I think the thing is with you have to put the pressure on Adrian. If you get a lead, that's when he starts forcing things. And but if he like breaks an 80-yard run, like then we're like,
Yeah, we can't give a big play.
Yeah.
It all matters. Like Will McDonald absolutely cooked their guy who's blocking last year. Hopefully,
yeah.
Will McDonald's a
People
problem.
forget last year we absolutely murdered them.
Yeah, we started off with Brees Hall 78-yard run for
That's what I'm saying.
touchdown.
Their
We
team
don't
can't
have
be that different. Adrian Martinez is better than whoever they had last year, but like, I don't think they're that much more talented than us. We're gonna be okay.
All right. So yeah, we appreciate Michael being on the podcast. We finally got back in studio. We got Melanie's baby shower. I got good old Henry coming down the pipe.
Easy there. Watch where you're going. Get soundthecyrens.com if you want any Sound the Sirens gear. We got some hoodies that would be nice and warm on Saturday night when it cools off. We got the black Sound the Sirens hoodies with embroidered Sound the Sirens white on the front. We got the one that Thomas is wearing right now, the white one, and we got the cruise. So hit up Thomas and hit up soundthecyrens.com, and maybe we need to have a contest this week
Yep.
again. We need to have a contest for get some more followers and try to get spread the word a little bit. But it's still fun. Doesn't matter. Still fun to be an Iowa State fan.
Yep.
Worst day as a Cyclone fan is still better than the best day of being a Hawk fan, right?
All right. Well,
All right. On that note, on who pays Michael's bills, we'll go on. All right.
all right. Go Clones.
So go Clones.